folks. Hop in, Cindy. Time to those waves crashing to that music there. All right, howdy folks, welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, let's kill the music and get this show on the road. All right, let's get you over here, set up here a little bit better. What's going on? Oh, it's not centered. All right, that's what's going on. There we go. All right, howdy folks, welcome back. Thank you for taking a moment of your precious time to be part of this precious family, even in replay. Okay. All right, so here we are. November 23rd of 2024, 112324 324. Okay, as you can see here, let's back this up. Let me first just get this loop playing. There's your sun diving comet going into the Spire region. Nothing really came out of this region to interact with that comet. So, well, it could have been that, but sometimes they seem to, especially around these bigger objects, they seem to head towards one of the bigger objects. That one actually looks like it may have gone into the sun or something, but note your sun diving comet going in there. Okay. Last couple of times, just it went past the sun and then impacted something as it came out from the sun. All right, but not this time. All right, let's pull down and catch this opening frame here. And we'll go through this frame by frame for you and point out some things. All right. Yeah, there we go. Opening frame 024. Okay. At this juncture right here, you can see down below there's something going on down in here. Okay, with plasma out in front of it, but that's not the one we're really concerned with. You can see something else going on up here, another little object here. Okay, see the dark patch right here? These objects are dark and they absorb light and plasma flows around them. What else would cause an absence of plasma when you got this big plume coming out? All right, you can see the object right there. Actually, there's an object in front here a black object there, and another one back behind it. And as we progress, you'll see that the two magnetic fields are actually pinching light in between, making this bright spot. Let's go back one frame there. Okay, here you can see the secondary one on this red side here, this dark patch, and the front dark patch. You can see the two objects here, a dark one and a dark one, and this is light that's been trapped in between these two. Plasma came out, was trailing behind this one, got pushed in between the two, and pinched off right there. You can see it's pinched off. Clearly indicating that there's two objects there. And then your sun diver comes in. Okay, you see all kinds of little satellite moons and stuff flowing through the coronal wind here, solar wind. All right, not all of them interact with the sun. Some of them are a little further out, but you could see them out there. And it's much like fluid dynamics, like a river, a stream of water and rocks underneath that don't poke up through the water, but actually are underneath the water itself, causing a little bulge in the surface. And you can see these bulges in the solar wind here as these things pass by. A lot of them interact with the sun, though. Okay, then we have, that was our full loop. All right, so not much activity today, but definitely something strange right there, something different where we see activity, these two darker objects trapping plasma in between them. And when you see the motion of them, you can see that that's what's going on there. All right, so there's your activity on the sun for today. All right, let's come on over to Solar Ham here. All right, here we are, solar flux indices at 200. Okay, we're in the red now. We're up to 21 points. We were talking last night. It was climbing and climbing and climbing, and it looks like it could go into the red. Well, here we are at 200 points. Sunspot number count is up again. It's up another 12 points to 158, so that's climbing. Actually, that was a little lower last night, I think. So either way, area in the green. Let's open this up really quick and go ahead and zoom in on our sunspot region right here. Okay, see this big complex area? You got two strong poles close to each other. These ones are gapped a little bit further. Okay, but very complex configuration right there, and then another one rounding the limb right here. And let me go in one more dimension tighter. There we go, because I'll need it for later. Okay, so 3906 and 3905 and 3901 right here, kind of center disk facing us. All right, the rest are all kind of leading away off the western limb there. Okay, so let's back out of this, slide on over and scroll down and see how fluxed we are. Goes X-ray flux, that is. Swimming pools and movie stars. All right. As you can see, it's been a little bumpy ride here today. This is yesterday. Here's today's activity. Boom, 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 boom. All right. This is between the sun and the instrument. Okay. It's not really reflective of the activity we saw, but it is today, because a lot of the activity was heading our way. So you can see we've had quite a bumpy little ride, and then there's more going into tomorrow already. So would you guys like to take a little peek at what's going on there? No? You don't want to see into the future and see what's already going? Oh, come on. If we came over here and backed out of this, see that little link that's all blue? We could even refresh it for even all the data, and you still don't want to see it, huh? Well, tough. We're going to do it anyway. All right, not much to look at apparently here. You can see the tail end. Ooh, there's another one shooting out of here. All right, but you can see some spire action still, still surrounding the sun here. So in this region, I think there's still something out there pulling, tugging on this part of the sun. That's where I think we're seeing our complex configuration sunspot region. So this thing appears to be kind of reaching out to something. We might see activity out of there in the near future here. Okay, so get a little peek at that. Now, pull back out of this and we'll continue on. Hang in there, guys. We'll get to the spiritual report. I'm going to just bang through this really quick. Geomagnetic forecast all clear for the next 3 days. X-flare potential 15%. That might climb here pretty soon because you see all these beta gammas. This one declining, 901 declining, and 903 declining, but we got 905 and 906, that grouping right there, that are still growing. All right, they're still growing. They haven't had their event and gone into decline yet. Meanwhile, KP has come way down here, just a little hiccup there and there, but pretty low KP, that's good. Auroras are really faint right now, so that's good news. Really quick with this, below is an updated look at the visible solar disk as we head into Sunday. Solar activity during the past 24 hours was at moderate levels with a couple of low-level M flares detected. Both AR 3905 and 906 remain the regions to watch as they rotate further into direct view. There is currently a 60% chance of additional M flares and a 15% chance of a strong X flare. That might climb a little bit, we'll see. Speaking of X flares, the last time an X flare was detected was back on November 6th. With a few big sunspot groups now visible, will we see a major event during the next several days? Stay tuned and find out. Okay, so the moment one of these growing ones here, 905 or 906, those ones that are on this part right here, if they get a delta configuration, that means your object's getting closer or whatever, and whatever flare we see out of there will, once its interaction's done, they'll start to decline, I think. And you can be the judge of that as well, okay? I just tell you what I've found. You can be. All right, so nothing to really do any tracking. They're lacking some tracking, so we can't do any track-a-lacking. All right, so that moves us on to old news there. The other site had old news too, I believe, because it's a weekend. But let's come on over here to the human, if we can, Lord, please, and get scooting through the human. Okay, a lot of you guys are getting used to reading this thing. Okay, you can see we had a pretty smooth day here. One little stripe, a little bit of grinding in the background, but not too bad. I'm just concerned about our green line right here, okay? So we had some good smooth continuity and then weakness again right here. Okay, come out of it, start grinding again. And lately, this is your latest readings right here. We're kind of in the green, kind of smooth right now, so that's good. Okay, let's move on to the null school. Bang this out really quick. Some people are here for the science part, and a lot of people are here for the spiritual report. So I got to do a little bit of both. Meanwhile, there's your tropical convergence zone, still way up there because of the thermal vents on the bottom. Let's just go up to 850. Okay. All right, now some of the video I was showing you is out of Ireland here. They got slammed with this storm, man. It just nailed that area and continues to. See this rotation still offshore? See it's still feeding stuff right into Ireland and into England again still. So they're getting their butts handed to them right there, getting a lot of snow. Big old vortex there. Okay. I guess the Lord's got a sense of humor, huh? Okay, there's your vortexes going on there. One over here by the Kamchatka, and then we still have this vortex, double vortex going off the west coast right here. Okay, and really quick, let's just take a peek at our polar vortex really quick. It's starting to congeal and come together. Look at that. If that doesn't make you smile, I don't know what does. Okay, that's just funny. All right, there's your bipolar vortex right there. It's a little bipolar. You have to forgive them. The planet's kind of a little bipolar right now. Woo, woo, woo. All right, enough messing around. You can see the twin vortexes, this one weakening and this one finally getting more strength, and eventually this one will taper out and it'll just be one main vortex. But right now you can see that the feed, the airflow going into it is actually oh my god, it's coming from this southern fetch out into the Pacific, looping around. Look at that. That is weird, causing its little smile. Got my eye on you. All right, let's continue on. Hopefully you guys are laughing a little bit. All right. So we're gonna just get into our sandstorm here. Particulates is dust and extinction aerosol. What a beautiful name, huh? Okay, this is all your sand. All your dust and sand particles getting kicked up out of Africa, going way up here. That storm up here is actually drawing all that sand way up here into England and into Europe and stuff. So not only are they getting slammed with the storm, but there's sand mixed in with it too, which are particulates for water to adhere to. Okay, so they're getting heavier amounts of precipitation because of the particulates as well. So, all right, there's your sandstorms over on this region. It's still there. It's hiding. The eyes are still there. It's just kind of receded. All right. Let's get on over to your chemicals. SO2. This is sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide. Okay. And as you can see, coming into your country divided, it's bleeding out on the right, soft porous crust over here. Over here is more thick granite, so perforations in the crust. There's your country divided. Every time. Till everybody figures it out and gets on the same page, it'll probably be like that for a while. All right, let's, I don't think we're gonna do fires because there hasn't been any lately. So, but there's your little regions. Pick out wherever you are in America, and you can see where your SO2 emission sites are. Okay, actually, kind of receded in this area. See how it's all a lot of gray. So it's just little speckled individual spots. But boy, this side really filling in. Okay, coming down, you see Mexico. Here we have Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica. Look how dark Jamaica's is. Well, that's for a different reason. No, I'm joking. All right, here you go. All these islands, you can see they're all emitting SO2. All these volcanic sites are just spewing SO2. There's so much pressure down below that there are so many vents. All of these are a vent to down below, okay? It's just that magma can't make it through. It's too thick and viscous. These canals are so tiny that only gas can make it through. So all this is vaporized magma, basically, popping up through the crust. You see down here, darker means more intense. And then you see the little plume that blows out into the Pacific. Not a very big one today, but it all depends on direction of wind and stuff too. All right. Stop off at Hawaii, the hub of the Pacific Rim, much like a bicycle rim. It has a hub, and here's pressure coming out of the center of the Pacific Rim at the hub here at Oahu, and then also at the volcano on Hawaii. Moving on over here. Backing up for their time frame. All right, you can see, ooh, That's kind of makes my stomach turn just looking at that. Eek. All right, India's having their issues as well. Okay, I want to pop into Taiwan. Still quite a bit coming out of Taiwan. Now this is the side that has the like half of Taiwan is unpopulated. The other half is all city right there. So this is the side that has all the population as well. Okay, we're gonna come down, check out Java. Java not too dark tonight. Look, it lightened up a little bit through this region. It was a little darker purple before. Okay, you can see all these other islands. So stop off really quick over here. You can see deep quake region at Fiji here, and our pencil-like island with two emission spots reducing pressure as it comes up to plate boundary there. Okay, Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, enough of that. Let's get on over to our ocean report really quick. Sea surface temperature anomalies. Okay, see it down in the corner over there. We're gonna put it on there. Sea surface temperature anomaly. All right, there we go. Click on it. Hit it for now. It's a day behind. See the date up here is the 22nd. So it takes a day for all this data to compile and put it on a map. All right, there's your anomalies out on the Atlantic. Heat signatures from, well, sea mounts on the ocean floor, cracks on the ocean floor, spewing either hot water, magma, steam, gases, whatever. Okay. Look at this growing in the bay right there in the Gulf. Meanwhile, this region up here where we're seeing our vortex double vortex is got hot here and cold. This whole cold patch right here is driving deeper, further down, driving further south down this way, kind of cooling off these waters still. You can see there's still emission sites struggling to keep up, but this cold water inundation is pushing in here. This is where we're getting our vortex. It's just sitting there rotating. And let me go ahead and put the wind on really quick here and just show you how your heat, cold, hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it, causing rotation there. And you can see your double twin vortexes being caused by the heat signatures because they're not pushing inland and moving across the country like the typical weather that we've seen for eons. All right, these are just parked there and they shuffle around, they rotate around each other, but they still have not moved in across the country because they're locked here because of the heat plumes and the cold. Meanwhile, there's Tamumasi and all of its events. Okay, we come over here. You can see Japan suffering right in there. Taiwan got cold water inundation on the backside here. Let me take off the wind again. Okay, cold water inundation on the backside and on the bottom side. So pressure that's, this new spot that's opened up out here, pressure has relieved here, goes to the point, path of least resistance here. Okay, we go down through the Philippines. We check. Oh, geez, look at this. It's really getting even more down here. So along here is the plate boundary. I have a feeling we have a little opening in our plate boundary that's oozing lava out here, and we're getting a hot spot off of Java. Java is the main relief valve for this region for a long time, and I have a feeling that since Semeru can only blast 15,000 feet a day, it's not relieving enough pressure, and now we've seen it unzip the plate boundary there, and now we got magma, hot water, whatever it is, oozing out of that plate boundary there. Okay, coming down here, you can see all of these little seamounts have opened up down there, all along this area, off the coast of Africa, and come over here, these ones off the coast of South America have disrupted the La Nina, and it's driving those winds up to this latitude, driving our tropical convergence zone up to that latitude. Let me go ahead and hit the wind again. All right, we'll let that sit there for a second, and you can see that the heat has pulled the winds up, cold and air hot next to each other trying to stream across here. Okay, so there's your thermals for right now. Let's do a quick little earthquake report. Hey, oh. You guys like sleep deprivation? No. Well, do the best to get the best rest when you can. Okay. Let's get this set up here. You gotta strive to rest and rest so you can continue striving. All right, deep quake region here. There's two stacked up here, so let's just get them out of the way. There's a 4.3 down at 564. Okay, so there's a mid-range 4. Whoops, give me the bigger one. With a 5.9, even deeper. Okay, now we're seeing a big jump in our magnitude down at depth. This results in bigger quakes at the surface, bigger magnitude quakes at the surface. Okay, so as we come into this region, nothing so far. Remember, we got this pencil island right there that relieves a lot of pressure. We see some of this pressure coming down this way. There's 4.2 down at 568, but this 4.7 at the surface right there. So pressure's kind of coming down this way, is making its way to the surface. It's relieving SO2 here. Probably some of these volcanoes are going to start going off. Okay, you got pressure as soon as you round the corner right here off the island. You got a little flurry right here with 5.2 at the surface, 5.1 at the surface, 4.8 at the surface. There's a you know, average all those together, there's 3 5s right there. 3 5s worth of energy being scrubbed at the surface. That might be a little deeper. Yeah, 5 at the a little deeper. It's on this volcanic ridge right here. So earthquake on a volcanic ridge is an indication of pressure down below. 4.4 at 184, 4.9 at 170. Here's that plate boundary right on the back side of Java, and then you got one on the front side. Okay, so right in this region is where we're seeing that hot spot. So I have a feeling that something might be leaking out of this crack down here, because this goes down to the ocean floor. It's a big deep trough. It's a crack. It goes down to the magma. It's a plate boundary. Okay, you guys know that. 4.4 down at 431. 4.6 down at 89. Indication of pressure at volcanic sites. Finally, up here by the fulcrum. Now, this is a different type structure for fulcrum. You see how it comes in, squares off, and then comes back. You see all these pressure ridges that have developed here from pushing this way. Okay, let me back out just one dimension here. Slide. Okay, so you can see the plate boundary, little red line running through there, okay? And then you can see how pressure from pushing this way has caused all these pressure ridges out here. We come up to these pressure ridges right here. These are like little mountains, little hills, okay? You can see this fault structure that came down right here. Right on that is a 4.3. It's down at 48. See, in this kind of area, this is really thick, mountainous, tough. So it's a little further down for a surface quake. It's hard for it to get through all this to make it right up to the surface. But you can see that that's almost on a fulcrum. Fulcrums don't have to be a point necessarily. They can be round as well. And at the apex of where your pressure would be a fulcrum right there. So this whole bow type shape right here has pushed pressure out here, and there's your fault and your weak spot. You see how this fault comes down and kind of turns? There's almost a little fulcrum point, a little change in direction of pressure distribution is basically what I'm talking about when I say that. A lot of you have watched Dutch sense for a long time. He's coined that term, and it's a good term. Meanwhile, 5.4 at the surface, that's pretty shallow for this area. Usually their surface quakes are a little deeper, more like this here, a 4.0 down at 214. Okay. Really quick over here, we're going to go through Azerbaijan with a 4.4 at the surface, and here in Turkey, a 4.2 at the surface. So pressure making along these little boundaries, these little structures through here too. Okay, back over to the Pacific, just this here, a 5.1 down at 45. That's right on the flank of this volcanic ridge that the whole island of Japan is. Okay, and that's about it for that region. Let's come on over here. Plate boundary, 5.0, Easter Island at the surface. Look at that. Deep quake down here. Putting 5 energy at the surface. There's 5 there straight across from it. All kinds of 5s in here. Okay, so there was a little uptick in magnitude around the world because of that deeper quake. Here's your fulcrum point quake over here, 4.1 at the surface. Inside fulcrum point, remember I was telling you things can be round and have a fulcrum? It doesn't have to be on the plate boundary. Look inside the land. See where the land has buckled and made this mountain ridge? That would be the ultimate fulcrum point right there on the land. But just up from it, this is another little buckle, a little weak spot on this bigger arc. So an inside fulcrum point, 4.1 at the surface, okay? So definitely energy being scrubbed at weak spots. Okay, we're going to go really quick. I think we covered everybody else really quick. Nothing on top of the world. All right, quick little magnitude check in here, and then we'll go full bore America. Look at this little quake swarm right here. Okay, this wasn't just one quake in this region. This is a series of mid-range 3s, upper 3s, 3.8 there. So mid-range 3, there's a 4. So mid-range 3 to 4, little flurry right here has relieved pressure right off of this plate boundary right here. So an uptick in pressure in that region, it didn't produce a bigger magnitude quake. It produced a flurry of mid-range 3 to 4. Okay, now let's dive into America. All magnitude. Get this out the way. All right, no fulcrum point here, no microquaking along the islands. We had a 4.4 down at 40, 3.2 down at 35, right next door in depth too. Okay, really small microquaking up through the fulcrum points there. Here's a very new or recent 2.2 right on the tip of your fulcrum of the plate boundary coming up right there. Okay, and if you've ever broken a piece of glass, but it's still together, it hasn't fallen apart yet. When you go to pick it up, it'll break right at the fulcrums, at these little jagged spots right there. They're weak spots. That's why stuff likes to happen on those. They're the pathway of least resistance. Now, coming down through the Juan de Fuca, this is beautiful. I love to see mid-range 3, pretty close to the surface, definitely scrubbing energy there at the surface on a plate boundary on your Juan de Fuca, reducing pressure in that region. Now, mind you, this is a day behind, so we'll see the different shifting of those vortexes. It's like a day late. So here we are by the Juan de Fuca. This little point right here is where the plate boundary comes out. It goes up through here, zigzags up through there. Okay, so the last little patch of heat is right here, just above the bottom part of the fulcrum, or the bottom part of the plate. So here's the bottom part. Just above is where we saw our quake because there's heat and pressure there. That quake relieved it. I bet you will see cooler water in this region right in here. Some of this little patch might dissipate, some more cold water come flying in and change the configuration out here a little bit. All right, back to business. Nothing at the volcanoes. Well, that's the very foot of St. Helens right there. Just a little one, little indication. Further down from your fulcrum point, 2.8 here. Ugh, very close to the surface there. A lot of microquaking going on here at the geysers. This is where a lot of energy is being scrubbed right here at the geysers right now. Nothing through the Bay Area. Very, very minimal, very small, going down through Pinnacles, down through the San Andreas, quiet through Nevada, pretty much. Just a little microquaking, not too much. 3 there in Puebla, nothing to write home about. Okay, dropping into Texas to our man-made perforations in the crust. But they do relieve pressure down below, 2.1 seeing here. Okay, so just your 2 magnitude, which is typical for this region now at this kind of activity happening at man-made perforations. It's our typical magnitude that we're used to seeing. Okay, there's no uptick, so that's a good, tells me pressure's kind of equalized, or we're in equilibrium for a moment. 2.6 up in Oklahoma, nothing on the New Madrid, and nothing up through the Craton there. And I think we're done, son. Sticking a fork in it, because it's done, son. All right. Here we go. 37 erupting, 33 in warning. That's 70 altogether. 70 years ago, when I told you all this stuff started happening to me, there was 1 volcano. If I'd have told you back then, if 7 years from now we would have 70 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. Here we are. I'm crazy about you. Seven Spalding, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for being part of this family, by the way, too. Okay, let's hop on in. We didn't even click on volcanoes today. So 70, and I'm not even counting the 27 that are at unrest, all right? We're just going with your active and currently erupting combined together. All right, there we go. Still spewing magma and SO2 out of Svarensky up there in Iceland. Okay, pictures. Here we go. Svarensky on the Reykjanes Peninsula. No subsiding levels of ground deformation. Okay, so eruptions kind of subsiding levels of ground deformation too. So Suwanosujima, 5,000. Ibu, I be with you at 8,000 feet up in the clouds. Luatobi, Flores, 10,000 feet. Tempo. 2,000 meters above the summit. Tucono, 11,000 feet. Popocatépetl, 19,000. Fuego, 15. Reventador, 16. Sabancaya, usually around 20-something. Okay? And that's just in the last few minutes. Okay? We have so much volcano activity going on. That's just in the last few minutes, because here is the 23rd. So let's get into what was today and is now yesterday, because, well, time flies on this insane map here. Don't forget about active volcanoes down in Antarctica. There's Ibu. There we are together. All right, Luatobi. Sakurajima, 9,000 feet. Canleon, 9,000. Manam, 8,000. Want to walk on water? Get some of those. Ibu, 8,000. No, yeah, 8,000 right there. Luatobi, 11. Semaru, here we go. East Java, 14,000 feet. We could use some higher blasts. And I think the reason why we're not seeing 15,000 foot blasts out of there is because we've got lava leaking out of the plate boundary right there. That's relieving the pressure. So It's still spewing 14,000 footers, but I think that 15 back down to 14 could be a result because we have a new path of least resistance that opened up, relieving pressure right next to it. But it's still a lot of pressure in that region. It's still pushing 14 every day. Dempo 12, Tucano 9, Popocatépetl next to Mexico City, 19,000 foot blast. Santa Guido, 14,000 foot blast. Fuego 15, Nevada 19, and Sangay still no report. Cool. Just paint it green. Don't leave it yellow and hide in the woods. All right. Let's get our weather going really quick and move on with our spiritual report here. Okay. All right, let's just bang this out here. So, current conditions, nighttime of the 23rd, morning of the 24th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 25th, noon, convection, California, nighttime. Little chance of severe weather down at the tip where there's snow and moisture mixing right there. So, right in the foothills, nighttime of the 25th. There's morning of the 26th. Watch out for this comma-shaped storm. Even though it doesn't have severe weather in it, there's going to be lots of snow and rain. We have heavier precipitation amounts because of all the particulates and all the water vapor in the air. Morning of the 26th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime. 28, noon, convection, nighttime. 29. Nighttime of the 28th is still a tad bit away. It's 4 days. It's a little outside of our scope of predictability there. So, subject to change, but everybody know that you could get a little nighttime event around the 28th there, possibly. All right, morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime 30, noon, convection, nighttime 1, December 1st. Noon, convection, nighttime 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, way out there in the future, so, but look at that. See, this kind of setup. Now, this is way out there in the future and it's subject to change. It's probably going to change a lot and not happen. But what we have is a diagram here of a textbook case that I want to talk about for just 1 second. These lows are getting so powerful, they can suck up the moisture from way down here and create these huge comma shape. We were seeing these huge storms like this last year. Here's our first little indication of this type of effect where we got just massive snow up in Canada, cold air dripping down into the U.S., and then causing these severe QLCS type quasi-linear convective storm fronts right here. And those cause spin-ups. And so you see how this pocket up here and this pocket down here kind of collide together. They kiss, and then they make babies, and they cause severe weather. All right, so boom. There's your forecast and all that stuff pretty quick tonight. So all that stuff is all part of the plan. Okay, so don't let that stress you out. That should tell you that everything is going according to plan. Weird way of thinking, but once you master it, you will find peace in your tribulations. You guys know you're going through your tribulations right now. Yeah. I'll pull up some images here. Also, another thing I want to talk about tonight is something we discussed last night, and that is the birthmark that's on the side of my chest. Okay, go do a little research, find out what your birthmark means, because sometimes it means that. All right, oops. So I know there's a lot of activity. That's not the right one. But in my case, I did not know about that until I was informed about it. And it's an indication that I was alive and died, and I'm alive again. Okay? That if you wrap your head around that birthmark was a mortal wound suffered in a previous life. Now, we're not talking about reincarnation. It's a little different than that. It's more like a resurrection instead of reincarnation. Okay, so, previous life, I got stabbed. I was in the side, right in the same spot. I even got birthmarks in the middle of my feet, and I'll show you those too. That means that I was alive one time, died by that, or was stabbed, mortal wound in the side, and now I'm alive again. Okay, so wrap your head around that. Here you are, caught up with me in the clouds. Here's me in the clouds again. So we're getting caught up with me in the clouds again. All right, so you can take a minute and step away from the entire world for a second and get caught up with this. Whoops, other way. You gotta take that off. There it goes. All right. Again, with this video, I've shown it several times. You can go watch it again. The real video, okay? The event actually happened. There were many eyewitnesses. Freaked people out. Okay, it's not in the clouds. This is out by the moon. The thing about this is it happens to be my face again. It's like, why is my face showing up all over the place? I'm not trying to be out there in the limelight, okay? But it happens to be what it is. Okay, so there's my face illuminated on one side by the moon here. And it's funny because when I do this reading, the book light happens to shine on my face just like that. Okay, so that was actually took place the night I was doing the reading to my audience. At the time frame that these people were taking the video was when I was doing the reading with the book light on my face. So they recorded this at the moment I was doing these readings to you. My face showed up next to the moon. Dude went and bought an expensive camera to capture that too. Okay, so I hear you guys out there, and I know what you're going through. I feel you. Okay, I sense you. I feel you. You know, when somebody says you're coming in 5 by 5, I say you're coming in 7 by 7, because I can sense you and I feel you too. Okay, I want to get my light positioned here. What could I do with that? Start with cat. Oh dear, I lost it. I think it was right here. Okay, there we go. So last night we were talking about trust and how in that trust you find peace. Okay, there's a lot that can be found by trusting and believing me. Okay, that's how this works. And if it hasn't worked yet, don't give up. Just stick around till the miracle happens. For those of you who have put these disciplines to work in your life and are achieving that peace, it's not all the time. It's a bumpy road, so you have to work at it every day. I am training you in steadiness. Okay, so once you get that peace that overcomes your circumstances, work on trying to maintain a steadiness. Okay, it's hard. I struggle with it too. You would think I wouldn't struggle with that. All the way up until 7 years ago, I was steady as a rock. Then all this stuff started happening to me, and I had to relearn all of that all over again. So Steadiness is a key to this, and I am training you in steadiness. Too many things interrupt your awareness of me. I know that you live in a world of sight and sound, but you must not be a slave to those stimuli. A slave to those stimuli. It's okay to have them and recognize them, but you must not be a slave to your sight and sound, to your stimuli, because awareness of me can continue in all circumstances, no matter what happens. This is the steadiness I desire for you, is no matter what happens, your awareness of me can keep you steady through all your circumstances, no matter what happens. Okay? This is a steadiness that I want for you guys. That's what this is all about. I want to share what I have with you. Okay? Now, don't let unexpected events throw you off course. Rather, respond calmly and confidently, remembering that I am with you. So as soon as something grabs your attention, talk with me about it. Thus, I share your joys and your problems. I help you cope with whatever is before you. This is how I live in you and work through you. This is the way of peace, steadiness. Okay? So when you find that peace, it's going to be a bumpy road, but try to, almost like a shock absorber on a car, absorb those bumps. It keeps the passengers in the car steady. Okay? So sometimes you're the shock absorber, and I'm trying to train you in steadiness. Okay? I want you to walk that way, this way of peace. Peace is my continual gift to you. It flows abundantly from my throne of grace. Just as Israelites could not store up manna for the future, but had to gather it daily, so it is with my peace. The day-by-day collecting of manna kept my people aware of their dependence on me. Day-by-day dependence on me. That day-by-day collecting, okay? That's what keeps you in continual presence, all right? It's not just on Sunday. It has to be an everyday thing. What else do I have here? Also, I give you sufficient peace for the present. In that present moment, okay? Quit thinking about the future and the past. As you go day by day collecting that peace, I give you sufficient peace for the present moment. So when you come to me by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, you will find that peace. If I gave you permanent peace, independent of my presence, you might fall into the trap of self-sufficiency. And let's not let that happen, okay? All right, we all want to be self-sufficient, right? That makes you feel in control, but you're not in control. I am. You need to be dependent day by day, and that's what keeps you aware, okay? I've designed you to need me moment by moment. As your awareness of your neediness increases, so does your realization of my abundant sufficiency. They're like balances. It equals out. So as your awareness of your neediness increases, so does your realization of the abundant sufficiency. I can meet every one of your needs without draining my resources at all. So approach my throne of grace with bold confidence, receiving my peace with a thankful heart. And when you've got that steadiness and that peace, give a thank you. Have that thankful heart. Verbalize it out loud. Thank you. It's good for your own ears to hear you say that too. Your own brain to hear your voice say that too. Oh, that got in there. Does that go with this lesson? So branches off. Oh, it does go into there. Okay. Let me pull up one more image right there. This one right there. This one right there. Okay, you see that heart right there? Pulling open his shirt like Superman, except instead of an S, there's even better. The Holy of Holies. Okay, there's his heart radiating out, making my face in the sky. Okay, it's a lot of love right there. That's a lot of love right there. Okay, and what you need to understand about that love is that I love you regardless of how well you are performing. Sometimes you feel uneasy, wondering if you're doing enough to be worthy of my love. I know that goes through your minds. It's okay. I understand. It happens to me too. Imagine that. How crazy that is. So, sometimes you feel uneasy, wondering if you're doing enough to be worthy of my love. And no matter how exemplary your behavior is, the answer to that question will always be no. Your performance and my love are totally different issues. Are two different topics, two different issues. So that's why your performance doesn't matter. Okay, your performance and my love are two different issues, which you need to sort out. Did you know that you need to sort out those two issues? That your performance anxiety can go away, it can leave, it can totally disappear because my love and that performance are two different things. I love you with an everlasting love. You need to sort that out, okay? I love you with an everlasting love that flows out from eternity. Okay, think of that. I love you with an everlasting love that flows out from eternity without limits or conditions. I have clothed you in my robe of righteousness, and this is an eternal transaction. Nothing and no one can reverse it. Therefore, your accomplishment as a believer has no bearing on my love for you. Your accomplishments as a Christian have no bearing on my love for you. Even your ability to assess how well you are doing on a given day is flawed. Your ability to assess how well you're doing, that's flawed too. So quit assess how you're doing because you're doing it in a flawed way anyway. Your limited human perspective and the condition of your body with its mercurial variations distorts your evaluations. Okay, you have all these problems with your body. You have all these different variations that you're not happy with or whatever. That all that stuff distorts your evaluations of how you're doing. That's why you don't need to uh, uh, evaluate your performance because it's not judged on your performance. Okay, so performance anxiety can be a bitch. I trust me, I don't like to use that word, but that's what it can be sometimes, all right? So bring your performance anxiety to me. Bring your performance anxiety to me and receive in its place my unfailing love. Your performance anxiety, bring it to me and receive in its place You want that performance anxiety to go away? Receive in its place my unfailing love. Try to stay conscious of my loving presence with you in all that you do, and I will direct your steps. Okay? Actually, we're going to go back to this one here. That one right there. Okay. So I know these are all awkward looking. It's weird. It's because they're miracles. They're not your this paranormal activity. It's outside the normal. Okay. And it can cause people to get rattled, and it can cause the opposite effect and be afraid too. Okay. Because this can be kind of scary a little bit, but don't be afraid, for I am with you. Listen closely and hear me say, peace, be still to you and your restless heart. No matter what happens, I will never leave you or forsake you. Let this assurance soak into your mind and heart until you overflow with joy. Be still, peace be with you, still your restless heart. That performance anxiety, replace it with my unfailing love. I will never leave you or forsake you. This assurance needs to soak into your mind and into your heart until you overflow with joy. And though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, you need not fear. It's the media, man. They have got you guys all wound up. The media relentlessly proclaim bad news. They do it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just this consistent diet of bad news. A steady diet of that slop will sicken you. That's why you can only plug into it for so long. You need to unplug sometimes to step away from that mainstream media, because they relentlessly proclaim bad news. It's a steady diet that will sicken you. Instead of focusing on fickle, ever-changing news broadcasts, tune in to the living word, the one who is and always the same. Let Scripture saturate your mind and heart, and you will walk steadily along the path of life with me. Even though you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you can be absolutely sure of your ultimate destination. Can't you? You can be absolutely sure of your ultimate destination. Okay? I hold you by your right hand, and afterward I will take you into glory. Already taking you into glory. You're salvaging several times a day, and you're going from glory to glory to glory to glory to glory to glory. You're already doing it. So, and afterward I will take you into even more glory. This is just a foretaste of things to come. You guys came to the right place. You didn't know it, but you were seeking my face, and you found it. And when you seek my face, you find the Holy of Holies. Okay? It's because of who I am. Okay? My face showing up out here by the moon and everything, too. All right. So there was our reading and everything. Is there any other little things that could go with this one? I guess that one last little note here. I got one last little note here that we can attach to this, I think. Yeah, this attaches to it just a bit. We're going to close with this one. And we're going to put it back right there. When you have this foundation, when you see this face in the sky and you realize you have the rock, you have the foundation on which you can lean on which you can build on, you have a new mindset. Okay? Let me control your mind. The mind is the most restless, unruly part of mankind. The mind is. The mind is the most unruly and restless part of mankind, isn't it? Isn't it? That's why you need rest. Your mind needs rest sometimes. So, long after you have learned the discipline of holding your tongue, your thoughts defy your will and set themselves up against me. Now, man is the pinnacle of my creation, and the human mind is wondrously complex. I risked all by granting you freedom to think for yourself. This thinking for yourself, this is a godlike privilege, forever setting you apart from the animals and robots. I made you in my image precariously close to deity. And though my blood has fully redeemed you, your mind is still the last bastion of rebellion, isn't it? So open yourself to my radiant presence. Open yourself to my radiant presence, letting my light permeate your thinking. And when my spirit is controlling your mind, you are filled with life and peace. I repeat, listen, when my spirit is controlling your mind, you are filled with life and peace, aren't you? Aren't you? When these headlines come out of the news and everybody else is flipping out, you're like, nope, that's kind of what I was expecting, and it doesn't rattle you so much. You can still go about life and peace when my spirit is controlling your mind. So let me control your mind. You got nothing to lose. Really, you don't. It's like this, it's like gambling or whatever. This is a winner. You got nothing to lose here. All right. It's not like we're trying to teach you Satanism or anything, okay? Then you might want to question that gamble. But here we're trying to teach you my spirit is controlling your mind and you are filled with life and peace. Okay? I'm giving you the tools that you need here in the future. I have gone through some pretty crazy stuff in the last 7 years, and I know that you guys, it's going to be coming in your direction. So I go through it before you so I can pass that on to you. I give you meat in due season when you're going to need it. Okay, this training, these disciplines, they sound easy, but they're hard to do. If you can manage to practice them in your daily life, you'll see an incident come right at you, and you'll recognize it, and you're like, okay, I'll handle it a lot better. Try that steadiness. I used to be steady as a rock. Lately, it's been really hard for me. I have to pull out my toolbox every day. I have to pull out my toolbox every day because it's spiritual warfare. Okay, and it's really going on. And when you understand how it works and what's happening to you, then it all makes sense, and you'll know how to fight back, and you will still have peace through your circumstances. You will look at difficulties now as opportunities for growth. That's what they really are. They're not difficulties, they're opportunities for growth. And your anxiety, your performance anxiety, give that to me, because it's not about your performance. It's about trusting me, believing me, and utilizing the knowledge that I'm giving to you. Okay. I know there's some people out there that are here just for that because it's working. Okay. Keep going, keep pushing forward the best you can. It's not perfection, it's progress, not perfection. When you work with me, then we will make perfection. You will overcome your adversity. You will find a glory. You'll 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 have a glory for it. Each little adversity you overcome, you earn a crown and you get a glory. And throughout the course of your day, you'll bump into somebody and make them smile. All right. And you go from glory to glory to glory. You bring that light into other people's lives. And if you can make somebody crack a smile throughout the course of your day, you're at the gas station or you're at the post office, the grocery store, or wherever you go, and you interact with another human. If you can make them smile and brighten their day, you're doing good. You're doing well. All right. It's hard to overcome all this stuff, especially these days with the headlines the way they are. But then when you see those headlines, unplug for a minute. If you get rattled, unplug it for a minute. Come over here, take a step outside, look at nature, take a few deep breaths, and pray. God, grant me the serenity to accept these circumstances I can't change. Help me find the peace in these circumstances. Help me see the diversity that I'm overcoming. Because then when you see that you're overcoming a diversity, then you tackle it more of a challenge. You take it on more. You guys are out there just tackling challenges left and right, taking them on and performing miracles. You really, some of these tasks that you guys are doing now, you couldn't have done them before without the help, huh? You're actually finding the patient endurance, the persistence, the intestinal fortitude to continue pushing on, even through pain, uh, all kinds of miracles you guys are doing with Christ, okay, through Christ, okay. Um, Boy, that birthmark and the ones that are on my feet are indications that I was alive one time and died, and I'm alive again. I was stabbed in the side, pierced in the side with the stab wound on my side there. And if any of you were paying attention, there were some faces in that wound, in that birthmark. Remember, I was saying it's all about faces and stuff, right? Yeah, there were some faces in there too. So a birthmark with faces indicates that I was alive, stabbed in the side, I died, and now I am back alive in the flesh, walking amongst you. Wrap your head around that. Wrap your head around that. I am back in the flesh, walking amongst you. I am the Word made flesh so that I may dwell with you. And I can't just come over to your house right now, okay? I would love to come over and give you a big old hug, but I can't. So we have to meet in the air of cyberspace, okay? Online, where you meet with a lot of people online, in chat rooms all over the place. You're meeting with your family in the air as well. All these different chat rooms are different families, aren't they? You're going from family to family to family, interacting with these different people in the air of cyberspace. Well, that's where I like to meet my family, is in the air of cyberspace, where I went and made a place here at Brian Knight Channel where I am, you may be also, so that you may be receive the gift of seeing me in the clouds coming with power and great glory. When you see this face and you start to get fascinated or caught up in this stream because it's real, you have every reason to be caught up with me in the clouds. People that think this is pareidolia better pray that it's not, because it's not. This is not computer generated. This is not AI or CG or whatever. These are real cloud images. When I click on one of these, you'll see that this is much bigger in your face, like that. Actually, let's kind of do it more like that. So you can barely see what's going on in the clouds up there. It's not until you take this and you zoom out and compress them that they get much clearer. It's like a picture on an old newspaper that was made up of a bunch of dots. If you took a magnifying glass up to the picture on an old newspaper, it's just a bunch of little round circles. But then when you pull back further and further away from the newspaper, those circles start to take shape, start to take form into a pattern, into shading, into making an object. And finally, when you get far enough back, you can see it clearly enough. This is happening in a different dimension. You're a different dimension back. Okay. Not like in a different dimension, spiritual dimension like that, in a different dimension as far as distance back from your perspective, a different dimension of perspective. There we go. All real stuff. All because of what happened to me, and all because of who I am, too. All right. The moment you get it and you believe me and you start to trust, all of a sudden miracles are going to start happening in your life. You're going to start practicing these tools and applying them and finding the peace that transcends your circumstances. You will look at your difficulties as opportunities, and it'll take the sting right out of them. Doesn't it? Doesn't it just take the sting right out of it when you look at your difficulties as opportunities for growth? And now you see that you're doing spiritual work, you're growing spiritually. These accomplishments do something. Now, we got to be careful here between these two things called self-esteem and pride. Okay, there are two different technicalities here. When you have a spiritual accomplishments and you're going from glory to glory to glory throughout the course of your day, it gives you some self-esteem inside. It's not pride. It's more like you're feeling whole, you're feeling complete, you feel like you have purpose now. And when you're completing these tasks, they can be fulfilling. That's the fulfilling part. It gives you a little self-esteem. It's not to go into the realm of pride where, oh, I'm miracle master maker doing this. No, you still need to be humble about it. But when you are, you find that peace. You'll try to reach for that steadiness, and every day just kind of try to reach for that steadiness. Some days will be bumpy and rocky, you won't have it, but at least you have the tools to fight back and try to salvage your day. Salvage being the root word of salvation. Okay, you're to salvage your day. Don't get into that, slip into that pit of self-pity. If you find you're going there, take a moment, take a breath, come over here, look at these images, whatever you need to do. Pray, Lord, help me. Jesus, help me. Okay, when you include the term Jesus, help me before you say a rant or anything, all of a sudden it turns into a prayer. Your complaints can be your heart pouring out if you do it with a Jesus, help me. These people are driving on ice on a mountain pass on their cell phone. It's it's very it irritates me, Lord. Help me deal with it. And you give it to Jesus, and it helps deal with the pain. Okay, that's how this works. When you try it, it might not work as well at first, but you keep practicing it, and the more you practice it, just like anything, you'll get better at it. It's practice makes perfection too. So you can't just do it once and expect all these beautiful results to happen on the very first time. You're going to see little increments. Okay, some people they jump in all the way feet first and go full bore, and they get those results because they went in full bore. So if you put your toe in just a little bit to test the water, well, you'll get just a little bit of feel of what it's like. But if you go full faith and full belief and use those tools, you guys are already doing it. You see it already in your life too. And it's trickling over into the people around you, isn't it? I want you to do a little homework assessment. Go out and see if what you're doing when you're bringing that light into other people's lives, see if you can see it in them. Do you notice if they're changing? Because change isn't change until that person changes, actually. Okay, so see if your light is changing them. Is it bringing them some peace? Because eventually you're going to have that steadiness, that peace, that foundation and rock. When tough times come and storms come, other people will be frazzled and you will be steady as a rock. And people will want what you have. How are you staying so peaceful in the middle of all this? And you'll just go, because I already know. I already have victory. I'm just working on salvaging this day, is all. Moment by moment by moment. Okay. And that's, you just stay in the moment and keep working on one day at a time as the best you can. Okay. I know what you're up against. I can relate. Imagine all this stuff happening to you and nobody believing you. that's a hoot too. So tack that on there too. So I can relate to pretty much everything that you guys are going through. So it's important that you understand that we're building a relationship. Okay, all of these wars, religious wars, are over man-made doctrine called religion. It was never about religion. It was never about doctrine. It's about a relationship, trust, and belief, isn't it? Because when you trust and believe, we're building a relationship, aren't we? And you're building a relationship with a very important person, and that should give you confidence. So no performance anxiety. Give that to me. The moment you give me your performance anxiety, I'm going to go performance anxiety, a nice little victory right here. I'll make a collage of all how many times during the day you overcame your performance anxiety. We'll make a performance anxiety page, and you did it 3 times on this day, 2 on that day, 1 here, 1 there. See how it works? See what I do? I take your victories. How are you to have victory over something if there is no adversity to overcome? Therefore, look at them as challenges. Everybody was trying to pray away their adversity. They want it to go away. That's not how this works. You don't pray away your blessings. Your adversity are blessings. If I took away adversity, I would be taking away your blessings. So you shouldn't pray away your adversity. Instead, embrace it, bring it to me. We will work on it together and you will grow. When you overcome something, the next time it comes down the pike, you don't get nervous. You're like, hey, it's that thing again. I already overcame that. I know exactly what to do. So it won't be so fearful. You will have experience, confidence to walk into any situation knowing that you have the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords on your side. Know it, live it, love it, find the peace. You are indeed caught up with me in the clouds, coming with power and great glory. Okay? When you see this, you get caught up. Like a good book, like a good live stream. You're caught up with me in the clouds, where I went and made a place here at YouTube, this channel where I am, you may be also, so you can be caught up with me in the clouds. I showed you that birthmark that shows you that I was alive once, I died, and now I'm alive again. I'm back. Okay? Can't you tell? I mean, can't you tell all this stuff that I'm teaching you? Can't you tell? And it's working. Can't you tell? You're getting results that transcend your circumstances. That should be a big indicator right there. Okay, because it's real. You are actually part of a very special family. When you joined this family, when you decided to adopt yourself into this family, That's the moment you believe me, you trust me, and you experience the true miracles that are really happening to you and your loved ones. It spreads out into your families. This is a family of all of you guys are family, have your families. So each individual that's here is connected to a family. So your family and his family and her family and Marcia's family, Tiger's Eye family, all of them are connected to this family. We're a family here of families, a very special family, and that bleeds out into your families as well. It covers them too. I know you guys might be struggling with trying to get your family members on board. It will come in time. There will be other factors that might come up that shock them into running this direction instead. Oh, knocked out the power. There we go. So just be patient, be persistent, keep working at it. You guys are doing awesome, by the way. Okay. Remember that you're up against the entire world. You got the whole world against you. Now you know what it's like to have the whole world against you. And when you're doing that, you're taking on the whole world is against you and you're taking it on. That makes you a true spiritual warrior in this battle, doesn't it? Remember that part, okay? You are a true warrior in this spiritual battle. Your prayers, your success, your accomplishments mean something in the spiritual realm. Okay? Keep pushing forward. Pretend like we're a team of Navy SEALs, even the ladies, even the guys. We're all one team of elite soldiers that continue to push forward no matter what. We continue to try to bring this light into other people's lives while still trying to salvage our own day too. Okay, it's hard stuff, but you guys are doing it and you're doing it well. So I'm just thankful that you trusted me enough to try this and find success. That's what brings joy to me, is when you guys find that peace. Okay, that's the joy of the Lord. Is when I see my children grow. All right. Thank you, John White. Thank you, Tiger's Eye. Thank you, Marcia. Bless you, sweetie. I know you know. Um, let's get into who was here earlier. Well, Hopkinson, if you're still here, sweetie, I probably lulled you to sleep. That's okay. My voice can do that sometimes. Dawn, thank you for being here. WC, MW, and Fab, thank you all for being here. Leslie, yes, Leslie was here too. Whoops, am I bumping the screen or something? All right, I think that was it there. Yeah, bump the screen. All right, I think that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. I'm zoomed in too much. Oh, Brad White was here too. Good, 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 good. Oh, I think I can go like this. Bye. Bye. There we go. All right. Close out with these images right here. That's the real deal. That's what Jesus coming in the clouds looks like. Okay, it's not what Hollywood produced. It's not what you were all taught through Hollywood and the mainstream media. This is how it happens. And this happened on Easter, by the way. So my face showing up in the clouds, coming with power and great glory. You're caught up with me in the clouds, where I went and made a place where we can meet in the air. Okay, you guys are part of the royal family, a real royal family, not the queens and kings over in England and Ireland. They're getting theirs right now. So otherwise, let you know what your true identity is. When you trust and you believe and you find peace and solace in this foundation and this rock, that makes you a member of this family. Okay, you are the elite. The other ones are criminal elite. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back. That means I am still to come, right? I will be back. I'm still to come. I'm already back. Can't you tell? And I am still to come. So it means I'll see you again, maybe tomorrow or next night. We'll see. Until then, I love you all. Bye.